I still remember the morning he left. We were fine. Or at least, I thought we were. He kissed me goodbye before I left for work, told me to take care. I was 8 months pregnant, exhausted but still pushing through because we had a life to prepare for. But when I got home, everything changed. The apartment was eerily silent. His clothes were gone, his things, his laptop, everything. At first, I thought maybe he had gone out. Then I checked my phone. Blocked, everywhere. No calls, no messages. Just gone. And the worst part? He took all my savings with him. I stood in that empty apartment, my body aching from the weight of my pregnancy, and for the first time, I truly felt alone. I had no family to run to, no partner to support me, and barely enough money left to get through the week. I wanted to break down, to stop, but I couldn't. My baby needed me, so I worked. 8 months pregnant, abandoned, and heartbroken. I kept working until the day my water broke. I had no maternity leave, no time to rest. I delivered my baby with no one by my side except the nurses. And then, as if fate hadn't been cruel enough, he came back. Not to apologize, not to check on his child, but to accuse me of cheating. "You think I'm the father?" he scoffed when I finally reached him. After days of trying to get in touch, I managed to call him from a different number. "You left me, stole my savings, blocked me everywhere, and now you're questioning if this baby is yours?" I was shaking, not just from anger, but from sheer exhaustion. I had just given birth. I was barely holding myself together. But he was relentless. "You were probably sleeping around. That's why I left." The words cut deeper than a knife. He knew me. He knew I had never even looked at another man while we were together. And yet, here he was, rewriting history to justify his cruelty. That day, I made a promise to myself. I would never beg for him again. The years that followed were the hardest of my life. I worked 3 jobs, slept for barely 3 hours a night, and fought through every struggle alone. But I did it. My son never went hungry. He had clothes on his back, a roof over his head, and a mother who loved him with everything she had. And then, after 5 long years, when I finally started doing well, when my business took off and we no longer had to struggle, he came back. I almost laughed when I saw his name pop up on my phone. For years, I had no idea where he was. He had disappeared like a ghost, leaving me to pick up the pieces of my shattered life. And now? He wanted to talk. I agreed. Not because I wanted him back, but because I wanted to hear whatever ridiculous excuse he had. "I regret everything," he said when we met. I wasn't ready back then, but I want to make things right. I raised an eyebrow. "Make things right?" "I want us to be a family," he continued, reaching for my hand. "For our son." I pulled away. "Our son?" I repeated. "The same son you disowned?" He stammered. "I made a mistake." I laughed, bitter, sharp. "A mistake? Where was he when I was struggling to buy diapers? Where was he when I was working overnight shifts with swollen feet just to pay for my child's milk? Where was he when my son was sick, when he cried for a father he never knew?" I looked him in the eyes and said, "You left us with nothing. And now that we have everything, you think you can just walk back in?" His face fell. "I just want to give our son a complete family." I shook my head. "He already has one. Me." And with that, I walked away, holding my son's hand, stronger than ever, knowing I had already won.